Good afternoon, good morning. It's Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, we've talked to leading agencies, technology providers, and consultants about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer channel and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Michael Schuh. He's the Vice President of Product Strategy and Innovation at KPM, Kroger Precision Marketing. So, Michael, how are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Excellent. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your position at KPM, and maybe a fun fact about yourself? Do you like to jump out of planes? Do you have working kids? What's a passion you may have?
Nothing quite that exciting, but yeah, happy to. I'm Michael Schuh. I'm the VP of Product Strategy and Innovation here at Kroger Precision Marketing, which is the retail media business of Kroger. I've been with Kroger Company for about a decade at this point, and maybe it was my calling. I don't know, but I love food. I do about 90% of the cooking around my house. Got 3 kids, not 14, running around at home, but love to involve them in cooking at home and enjoying that experience.
Okay, great. I know most people are very familiar with Kroger Company, but can you give us some more information on Kroger Precision Marketing, maybe a little history and overview of what you guys do, how you do it, and maybe even a little bit about the evolution of the entity?
Yeah, happy to. So Kroger Precision Marketing was founded just about 4.5 years ago, really to unleash the power of Kroger's first-party data asset for the advertising ecosystem and to help engage with customers across our digital channels in a really meaningful way. We are really all about driving the right media accountability and effectiveness for brands by closing the loop between media exposure and store sales, whether that exposure happens on our digital properties or across the open web ecosystem. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about some of our different publisher relationships and how we tie that exposure back to a sale, whether that sale happens in our stores or increasingly with the growth of grocery e-commerce online.
Okay. I saw, or we saw, should I say, the Kroger recently announced kind of the expanded access to on-site advertising. You kind of mentioned that. What does that actually do? What does that give advertisers with regard to product listings on the e-commerce site? Is it in store? Is it in lane? Is it at checkout? You can tell us about that expansion and what it means and how it adds value to the advertising community.
Absolutely, yeah. And when people think of retail media and commerce platforms in general, oftentimes the first thing you think about is product listing ads within search results or other experiences as customers are online building their baskets. And it's no different in our ecosystem. We've had product listing ad units in search and other personalized carousels across our digital properties, both web and app, for a number of years at this point. The announcement that we made last week was really expanding access to that inventory to 3 different ad management platforms, PackView, Sky, and Flywheel Digital, really as a means to enable advertisers to engage in tools that they're already really familiar with and buying in, to offer them more control and flexibility in how they handle, especially a high volume of campaigns. Everybody's, over the last couple of years talked a ton about the acceleration of online commerce. And that's created a real opportunity for brands to win at the digitally constrained online shelf. But it's also created a really high level of effort to execute those campaigns, right? And so the onus here for us and really the value for advertisers is ease and flexibility, meeting them where they are and tools that they're already familiar with, and enabling them to interact with Kroger customers at the point of purchase online to drive things like share of category and sales lift.
Okay. And the products that one can advertise, is it mostly CPG type products, or is there maybe a life cycle or life stage product, health and wellness add-on, or is it traditionally more the CPG products to drive a purchase or trial or acceptance through the kind of digital community?
Yeah, it's traditionally our endemic CPG brands, brands that sell products in our stores across the country. So we've got, as Kroger, we've got 2,700 store locations and offer customers to shop with us in store or online via grocery pickup or delivery. And so really it's about those brands that are already selling products with us today. But I also think there's a huge opportunity for us, and we've had lots of conversations, even here recently, with additional brands that don't sell products with us today on how our data, our really rich first-party data asset from 60 million households here in the U.S., could actually influence their ad investments and their ad buys off of our properties in really relevant ways. There's a ton of signals and sort of derived insights you can get out of behavioral grocery data on what people buy, what they eat, how healthy they are, many different things there that really can be valuable for brands.
Okay, so they could take that data and then use that for potentially acquisition, kind of or PPC, or even use it internally with regard to their programs, right? That health data potentially, just to add some, zero party data that would add some color to kind of marketing opportunities.
Yeah, and no health data specifically, just to be clear too, but it's really all around, what people buy. You are what you eat sometimes, right? And so how can and we really anchor ourselves on what customer problem are we solving, right? How do we help people who might be wanting to eat healthier? How do we help them do that? How do we help drive the right inspiration throughout their purchase journey with us? And how do we make it easier for both advertisers to transact against our data and our inventory, as well as for customers to move from what might be inspiration to purchase, right? Part of the real value in more sales coming online is that distance between a brand awareness driving ad exposure or click and a purchase. It just continues to get shorter, right? You can now purchase with one or two clicks, even from some connected TV ad units, right? That is really truly disrupting the customer experience and the brand experience for how brands think about their ad dollars, how they invest in things like performance marketing versus brand building. And we fundamentally believe that our data asset has a major role to play, not just in driving relevancy in that experience, but in holding the investment accountable to real business outcomes.
Okay. I know Kroger has had a kind of a loyalty program, a loyalty focus for a number of years. How do you look at the success, the efficacy of your customer loyalty, brand engagement, and customer experience efforts?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Kroger's had a loyalty program for decades at this point, and it's really founded on a trusted value exchange with our customers. Our customers know the more they shop, the more they earn. And by earn, I mean price discounts, fuel points, which today are more important than ever sometimes, community rewards, and other things that they see really tangible value in for scanning their loyalty card as part of their either in-store or online transaction. And we have a really direct link between the in-store loyalty card and a customer's digital account. That 96% card capture rate in store is what really feeds our data asset that we can then provide value, like I said, back to customers in the form of not just price discounts and fuel points at the point of transaction, but increasingly relevant communications, personalized messaging throughout their digital experience, either with us or across the web, as we connect brands in, like I said, to drive inspiration and discovery, and really to meet customer needs. Nobody needs more advertising. They need to feed their family. They need to pack lunches this week for their kids. They need to find a new fun recipe to cook at home. Those are the types of things that throughout our sort of loyalty program, we have curated this value exchange with customers where they understand the equation and really appreciate their relationship with us as their favorite grocery retailer.
Okay. And what impact will this retail media service have on customer brand loyalty, do you think?
Yeah, I've mentioned personalization science and other things, a few times already. The loyalty program investments that we make as a company and that we deliver value back to customers really, if you engage with our digital properties, we make it really easy for customers to shop with us and really convenient. We oftentimes talk about how convenient it is to shop grocery online for a customer, but the reality is we see online baskets actually be 2 to 3 times larger than in-store baskets. So if I have to go through and execute 30 or 40 different product searches and add all those items to my basket, it can take a long time. So we use some of that behavioral data that we have to make it easier on customers. You land on that homepage, hey, let me add the 10 things to my order really quickly that I always order, that are always part of my weekly basket, and then let me fill out the rest as I go. That makes it really, really important for a brand in terms of driving brand loyalty to get your item in the basket the first time. And I've already talked a little bit just about the digitally constrained shelf, right? Being present, being visible, being an option for customers as part of that experience is really, really important, not just for that first transaction, but because we make it so easy to repeat with the different personalization science and other components of our digital experience for customers as they shop with us.
Okay. After the pandemic, even going through the pandemic, we have a number of grocers who are members of Loyalty360. We actually have a working group pertaining to grocery. There's an enormous upswing in the interest or kind of focus on digital shopping to get that additional channel, kind of that additional data set. And obviously, brands know if they can get them more digitally engaged and more digital native, they can engage them in unique and different ways. Specifically at Kroger, how does this impact the retail media service?
Yeah, so we saw from 2019 to 2020, a lot of people did. We saw grocery e-commerce, nearly double overnight, and Kroger's investment in creating a really seamless shopping ecosystem, whether that was in store or online, years before that, was a big benefit to us, helping meet customer needs during that really chaotic times over the last couple of years as customer behavior changes drastically throughout. What we've really found is that consumers really shop across channels. Even the most loyal e-com households don't just shop e-com. They might do a large online order once a week, once every couple of weeks, and then do smaller fill-in trips in between for produce or fresh meat or other things. We've also found that digital media and the advertising that we work with brands on really impacts in-store shopping in a big way. We talked a lot about, and we always talk about kind of e-commerce, but it can't be lost on anybody that a huge percentage of our sales are still happening in store, and digital media that we serve on behalf of brands, that we work with brands on and enable them to run using our data, has a huge impact on in-store shopping too. And retail media is just continuing to grow because brands see the impact. They love the ability to close the loop between media exposure and store sales, either in store or online. And going forward, that's going to be a huge optimization lever for them on how they place their bets, how they place their investments, and what it really means to drive their business forward.
A quick follow-up to that one. One of the things that we've heard about in grocery is that there's been kind of a transformation with regard to how the grocers engage with, from a data perspective, the CPGs, right? Because traditionally CPGs was slotting fees, it was product performance, right? It was paying for promotion or placement. How much of the aisle can you potentially get? But now there's a transformation, and I think you talked about it a little bit, is making sure the product is relevant, it speaks to the customer in a way that can have the most optimized performance. Were there any challenges that you saw kind of navigating that kind of traditional relationship?
Yeah, I think everybody's still figuring it out, right? We're still early in this sort of retail media phase and journey. Everybody, I think what we've had tons of discussions with brands directly, with our agency partners who are buying at scale on behalf of brands, especially with national investments, everybody's approaching it a little bit differently. Some people are focusing in on shopper budgets, some focusing on e-com, some funneling money back to headquarters, and
Right.
angling on brand investments. It is, it's tough to navigate, especially because so many different people are and so many different companies are approaching it differently. I think it remains to be seen, still on what are the best ways to structure that for everybody. What does that mean at one retailer versus another? Our focus has really been on two things. One, it's on solving for brand outcomes, on making sure that we can prove results no matter how brands are investing with us across our different sort of omni-channel ad units or relationships. And then two, developing really deep relationships with the major agency holdcos. They are, really big, you know, uh, uh, you know, purveyors of how brands spend their dollars and how they execute really effectively. How we've created those relationships and continue to work with those teams is a huge way that we know our data can help influence the just different investment choices that brands are making, especially more towards the top of the funnel.
Okay. Yeah, personalization is a very relevant, timely, germane topic for brands. What it means, how you measure it, how do you, get the right technologies to enable, both from a kind of data analytics, cleansing, CDP perspective, but also from an automation perspective. How is technology impacting your ability to personalize communications, content, benefits, and rewards to your audience?
Yeah, the tech ecosystem is really interesting and seemingly both more complex and less complex all the time.
Yeah.
Those two things seem to be at odds with each other sometimes. We just look back at our 2021. We generated 2 trillion personalized recommendations for our customers on the fly last year. Our personalization science that drives different parts of the digital experience, different parts of our ad units, and how we go to market and enable brands to be most relevant wherever they're trying to reach our customers, and with whatever KPIs they're most after, it's huge, and it's really, we're seeing results as part of it. We've seen 20 to 40% lift in sales compared to non-personalized experiences. The list goes on in terms of the benefits that we see from tying both personalization science in as part of the experience to drive relevancy, as well as using different technologies, as you said, to be there in that moment and help with decisioning in real time. As a customer executes a search, as a customer lands on our homepage, a customer opens their app, you have one moment right there to get it right for a customer. And how right you get it sometimes dictates the experience they have, the loyalty they drive with a brand, the loyalty that they continue to curate with us as a retailer, and how often they come back to repeat.
Okay. We talked about this a little bit, but customer behavior is very important. And, Kroger 8451, can you have a cadre of great individuals who have a kind of a depth and breadth of experience in this. But, when you look at the audience at the customer level, who is the audience for the offering, and how, we talked about this a little bit as well. How do the CPGs fit into that equation?
Yeah, I'd say it's really two things. One, when a customer is shopping with us digitally, when they visit our site to search and build their basket online, we talked about this a little bit. The audience is that the customer who's in the moment shopping with intent in real time, right? And the brand's role there is to make sure their product and their assortment is most relevant as part of that experience. A brand or a customer, I always use the example, if I walk down the chips aisle in store, I see hundreds of products in front of me, probably 50 different brands. If I search on web, I might see 10 products before I go to page 2, and nobody goes to page 2, and maybe less than that, only 3 on mobile app before I start scrolling. So being
Right.
part of that experience and being relevant for a customer in that moment is so important. And then the second, really our customer off of our digital properties is really anybody who can shop with Kroger, right? And no matter what type of media they're consuming, if they're browsing the open web, if they're on a streaming platform like Roku, if they're on a visual inspiration platform like Pinterest searching for recipes, CPGs have a huge role to play in each of those moments in bringing forward really relevant content, using our data to make it most impactful for that customer with right message, right experience as you click through, to create that bridge to commerce and make it easy for a customer to shop that recipe, to shop that product,
Right.
to engage with that brand in a really deep way that is beyond just what are the traditional measures of success like viewability and click-through rate and other things, and actually drive to the things that matter, like incremental penetration, household penetration, growing share in your category, or just growing sales lift in general.
Okay, great. So yeah, definitely very interesting what the team at KPM is doing. Interesting to hear your approach and focus, and also how you see the evolution from the personalized offers and kind of the data sets, and most importantly, the ability to drive that deeper engagement, customer loyalty. So, Michael, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. It was great to hear from you and kind of overview of the program. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone else for listening. Join us back again for another edition of Loyalty Live. Have a wonderful day.